So, did you make contact with aliens? Were you taken to another planet, to a mothership? How did they communicate with... Can you tell me what they look like? Can you tell me how many of them there were? Were you given food?
But the teachers are alive. They're not books. They are the very living essences of nature itself.
What a strange person.
Unbelievably powerful supercomputer that's running our reality, and we don't have a clue as to how to operate it.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
You don't know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I see that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm the clairvoyant.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
All broadcasting from New York, upstate, near the Great Lakes. This is Lighting the Void. I'm your host, Joe Roop, and we're live on the Fringe FM, KTLK Digital Broadcasting. Man, I just slid into the studio tonight. Probably 30 minutes, probably 45 minutes before the show started. Just got back from Niagara Falls. Oh, what a sight, man. Power. There's extreme power in that place. You can feel it. You can feel the energy for sure. And went there with Ryan Gable, and we visited the Tesla statue, which it took us a little while to find it, but it was pretty interesting to check it all out. Anyways, I'll be posting some of those videos too. I'm adding that into the behind the scenes with the Patreon, and I want to thank the new patrons for signing up this week. Casey, Marley, and Steezy, thank you guys so much for signing up. I really appreciate your support, and in fact, we need your support now more than ever. So if you can join the Patreon or donate, that would be fantastic. Also, the Fringe Fest. Keep an eye out for that. We're working on that behind the scenes. We got some really cool speakers coming. The fringefest.com is the website. We'll have the new graphics up, new promos, and the new announcements coming as we announce the event. This is going to be an online virtual event, and it's going to be pretty cool, right? More details to come on that, though. And let's see. Tomorrow night, man, we're going to have some guests that are coming back that I'm really kind of excited about this week. So tomorrow night, Jared Murphy's going to be on the program. He's going to be back, and as well as Anthony Tyler will be back again. I look forward to talking to him. My brother from Alaska, the researcher that sent me his book. You know, it's going to be a cool week. We're going to have some deep discussions. But tonight our guest is Jerome Headley. And I want to tell you a little bit about him. Now, he's from the island of Barbados, and he's an energy worker and a clairvoyant who incorporates bioenergetic techniques to heal and empower people and reconnecting them with their divine soul blueprint. And after working the field for the last 8 years through accelerated consciousness activation, he now focuses on guiding others through the awareness of unity within self, crystalline living, and anchoring the perfected self here on the earth and the journey to the crystalline life. And you can go see all the links there. Will be facebook.com/unified energetics, anchor.fm/unified energetics, and youtube.com/user Jerome Headley. Jerome, thanks for coming on the program, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
I think this is the first time I've ever had anybody on the broadcast from the island, or in Barbados for sure. So I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah, it's really an honor, you know, to be broadcasting from here and actually communicating with you as a soul being, you know.
Oh man, the feeling's mutual. How are they treating the virus there though? Like, is it kind of the same here as the States, in state where I'm at, or is it different?
Yeah, we caught it early, so we didn't really have community spread. So they mainly caught it at the airport. So we've had a couple of cases of locals, but again, I don't. Well, at least from what they're disclosing, it hasn't been community spread, right? But even still, though, like we still have the like mask. Well, they suggest that people wear masks and social distance and all that jazz. So so it's pretty interesting to observe how everything is playing out right now on the world stage when it comes to the virus.
Well, that's cool. I'm always curious about that, how people are dealing with that in different parts of the world and stuff. So when you talk about working with someone's energetic blueprint or your divine soul blueprint, what do you mean by that?
So I essentially, so how it started for me was actually tuning into aspects of myself and then also tuning into certain teachings, one in particular being the Law of One teachings. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And essentially it brought me to the realization of the crystalline aspect within ourselves, how crystals in themselves actually are a reflection of ourselves from inside, right? So I began the process of actually an alchemization process from within, actually awakening a lot of aspects within myself that are connected to healing and basically assisting in the realignment of this crystalline nature or the Christed nature within our consciousness. So yeah, it's a very interesting journey that it took me through a whole path of actually even recently now learning about the various programs within our consciousness that actually create aspects of limitation and lack. Whereas in the natural state of things, our consciousness is infinitely abundant, right, and limitless. So yeah, it's definitely a very expanded journey, and I developed a very deep passion in assisting others as I recognize them as reflections of myself, and assisting them in realizing the truest nature of themselves from deep within.
Yeah, pretty much they came here born with this ability. It's something we talk about frequently here on the show. It seems like, we come here as babes into the world, born with love and worthy of love and worthy of everything, and somewhere along the line, we allow things and I guess people, programs, society to take that away from us.
Yep. So it's essentially bringing that awareness back or forward, as I like to say.
So what were some of these energetic techniques that you practiced? Can you talk about them?
So how it began for me was essentially this was back in 2011. I was involved in a car accident where it in itself I received an intuitive cue or an intuitive message basically telling me not to do or not to drive out of a particular road. But with my
you didn't listen, huh?
Yeah, I didn't listen, right? The ego of mine. So I basically got into the accident, and it was a oncoming car coming directly at my side, right? And I had a friend in the car and my mom. And all I remember doing is basically acknowledging and being in awareness that this is it for me, right? And I remember seeing the whole reality start to slow down, and when the car impacted, when the car hit, I remember seeing the license plate and stuff spinning inside of actually came into the car through the window. And I was watching it flying past me in slow motion. And when the whole thing started to resume into normal speed, I wasn't harmed, right? And it was synchronistic that the car that I was in, a Honda Accord 1995, was actually a decommissioned model, but it had a steel bar in the door. Right, which actually prevented the car from. So the car that hit me was completely written off. Right, so from that moment, I became. I started to listen a lot more to that intuitive nature. So I would listen to it or trust it so much that I would actually be able to I would have a feeling in my body, but it would also be like a voice whispering in my ear, telling me that things would be okay, that if I walk down the road, everything would be okay. I was so trusting in it that I could literally walk across the street without looking. And I know that it would be that things, once the voice or the feeling told me it's all right, I'm doing it. So it would even certain confirmations I received in that was, for example, finding items that I would have lost on a construction site where I was working at within that year. Actually finding items that I lost buried in sand, right? And my intuition would tell me stop right here and dig in the sand with your feet for a couple of seconds.
Wow.
And yeah, right. So it was that clear. And through my whole process of still engaging in because I was young, so I was still going in terms of engaging in the lower 3-dimensional world and stuff like that. So that consciousness started to go away, right? So then it basically brought me into the process of actually seeking it out, because it's something that you would definitely miss, right? So I got into Reiki. Eventually, this is about maybe 3 years later, so this is just after 2012. I got activated to a different level of awareness after 2012, so about 2013, January. I interacted with crystals, and quick enough, I started to be able to feel the energy from the crystals. So that started me off on a whole nother journey now in terms of feeling energy, tuning into certain types of life force energy from plants. So I would actually like hold out my hand and I would be able to feel the vibrational senses coming from objects like plants. I would be able to feel in the supermarket, like certain items would be drawing energy from the space, or some energies or items would actually be sending out energy. So like fruits, for example, right? And so it became a process of actually increments actually growing this awareness. So it started off as me just maybe breathing very slowly and sensing the slight vibrations, then starting to like walk slightly and feeling it, and then it expanded from there, being in a car and being able to feel the road moving under the vehicle. And then I learned Reiki, and then that again was another level of the awareness. My own senses became heightened as well when I noticed when my mom actually got attuned to Reiki before I did, right? Maybe like a month before, right? In synchronicity, because we didn't talk about being attuned to it. We just, because I was in another country at that time.
Now, do you think that I don't mean to cut you off there, but do you think that anything from that car wreck triggered this? I mean, not the voice, but just something that happened in the car wreck.
Yeah,
maybe.
for sure. I actually, through introspection, I actually realized that it in itself created a timeline jump for me in terms of me actually, like a version of myself died that day, right? Almost like a walk-in, essentially.
Okay.
So it was
so you essentially you came out a different person.
Yeah, it was completely but I was relatively relatively the same, but I know from after that, actually, because before I was a very pessimistic type of person, always kind of like seeing things in a very negative way, always like very anxious about stuff, and like if somebody told me like asteroids miss the Earth constantly, I would be like constantly like anxious about the fact that an asteroid could hit the planet.
Sooner or later, one's going to get us. Yeah. Well, you mean the anxiety of an impending sense of doom all the time.
Right. So when after the accident, all of that went away. I just had a full trust and knowing that things were going to be all right. Like I said, it gave me the feeling of being able to like almost like walk on water. Right. So my journey in itself was me getting back to that awareness, right? So while I was in Trinidad studying at university, I tuned into Reiki. So I got attuned to Reiki, and then quick enough after, maybe like a few months after, I kind of like moved up into a different, or at least for me, a higher awareness of coming out of the box of just Reiki and expanding into my own unique type of modality, right, based on my own soul memories. So yeah, it's quite interesting, the whole process of actually coming into the awareness, because the experiences that I started to have in terms of interacting with energy, especially working on myself, because I noticed again like how my reflections within myself work is that when I work on myself, usually when I have a client come to me, they usually have either a similar situation that I may have already cleared within myself. right? Or aspects of me actually assisting them in realizing things about themselves, right? Also assist me. So at times they come as teachers for me as well, right?
Yeah.
Which is again the very interconnected nature of our reality as a reflection of our inner world.
Which goes back to the law of one, the raw books. Yeah, that's fascinating. Now, earlier you were talking about your mother or something. Did you get her involved with the Reiki too? Did you get how did your family take this?
She I actually while I was in Trinidad studying, I actually brought a book for her called, I think it was, let me see, I think it was Higher Self, Becoming Your Higher Self or something like that, right? And she actually read that book and did a lot of the meditations in the book, and it actually helped her a lot through her own process of awakening and realizing certain things within herself. So I used to actually talk to her a lot about some of the experiences that I went through or were going through at the time. And it actually, through synchronicity, she was going through aspects of it within herself as well. So the book, the Higher Self book, actually was assisting her through her own awakening, which was very parallel to what I was actually going through. And again, it connects, I believe, to the DNA, right? So in me actually awakening, it kind of like helped her to awaken as well. So she got attuned to the Reiki. I can't remember whether it was, I think I brought it up. And then she came across a group in the island here in Barbados that was involved in Reiki, because we have a Reiki association. And she actually then got attuned. So the night that she was attuned, I recall my body was actually, I could feel it in my body, but I wasn't too sure what it was because I didn't know that she was getting attuned. But I remember having like a very high fever, right? And my body was going through energetic upgrades. And I recall when I actually sat and kind of like cleared my mind and meditated, my awareness, the awareness shifted within my body to where I was able to actually feel energy a lot more, right? So again, we're like energetic. We're just like computers actually, or more so, computers are just like us, in the sense that we're able to upgrade ourselves, or more so bring down certain layers or blocks within ourselves to allow us to access more of our own innate capabilities within this realm, right? You would see like the CIA well, I don't know if you did you see the CIA actually released documents talking or actually proving some of the research when it came to our reality as a hologram, and how the mind, the connection of the mind and the heart, and the merger of the hemispheres, the left and the right hemisphere, or the masculine and the feminine, actually alter the reality through the manipulation of photons, or more so electrons in the reality.
Yeah, that was actually an assessment that happened of the Gateway program from the Monroe Institute, where they talked about those things.
Yep. So, it was quite fascinating actually checking that out and realizing, again, like, because for me, I noticed like actually coming into the awareness, like as a I guess that would be like as a male, because I did civil engineering, studying that. So like my mind was more of like a logical logical sense, right? Of needing to find like certain proofs to tap into certain levels of awareness, right?
Yeah, they said in that document verbatim, and I don't know if they were. I know they were doing it from like a statement or report type of thing, but they said energy creates, stores, and retrieves meaning in the universe by projecting or expanding at certain frequencies in a 3-dimensional mode that creates a living pattern in a hologram type thing. That's what it said.
Yeah. So even in itself, then our perceptions, what we, based on our perceptions, based on the programming that we have within our consciousness, then our reality, our experiences is then essentially shaped holographically based on those preset perceptions. So it's like a preset program of having thinking that having the awareness that gravity exists, right? That if you throw a ball in the air, that it has to come down, right? So like parameters like that. But essentially, if we move into like different dimensions, then there would be possibilities of these parameters actually being completely different. Yeah. Based on perception.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody was all shocked about that, but the double slit experiment kind of shows us that, doesn't it? You know?
Right. Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's actually quite fascinating when you actually think about it. And again, is for me, then it ties into like my recent, more in depth. Looking into certain programs within our consciousness, programs that we would have even picked up essentially from our genetic line even, right?
Right.
The whole double slit experiment is again talking, even if you look at the whole thing with what they call it superposition, right? And even the whole aspect of the multiple worlds, multiple realities existing simultaneously, and us focusing on a particular reality through what people would call the imagination. For example, you actually visualizing or tapping in or tuning into another aspect of a reality someplace else, right? And basically the quantum jumping or overlaying it onto this existence here.
Pretty trippy stuff.
It's
yeah. So
when you think about it, so what we're going through now is in the world is aspects of that where the energy, some people call it like an electron flood or like a photonic, I think they say we're going through a photonic belt, where the energy is a lot higher. You could feel it, you could see it in terms of how it's manifesting physically and the changes that are going on around the world. And in itself, it is causing or allowing for a deeper connection into the manifestation of our reality based on our own personal perceptions.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, what I want to do, because I know we're having to go into the break here, and so what I want to do is, I kind of want to, honestly, I kind of want to talk about some of your experiences that you had with this work. Sure. I know because you said earlier some crazy things happened, right? So some things that happened that were pretty intense. So that's kind of what I want to get into as we go into the break here. We'll be right back with Jerome Headley, guys. You can call in too anytime, 1-800-588-0335, or join our chat room by going to thefringe.fm/chat room. Stay with us.
Barbara Charlton from Metaphorical Archaeology. If you've ever had a traumatic paranormal experience, the effects of it may stay with you for years. Who do you talk to? You can't go to conventional help. What we do is we use emotional freedom techniques or tapping to actually neutralize the effects of that event. Maybe when you tell the story now, your heart races and your palms get sweaty. You don't even want to think about it because you don't know how to neutralize that. That's what EFT tapping does. It neutralizes those emotions. The circuit that was recorded on is gone. The energy flows freely and you're free of it. And that's what emotional freedom is all about. We offer this as a pro bono service, but this is something that I offer because no one, it seems, is helping people with these experiences. If you'd like to reach me, it's really easy. My cell phone is 214-995-3754. Please leave a message. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Or you can email me, barb.eft@gmail.com. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. Reach out to me. It's confidential. This works. You won't believe the result.
Have you heard of heavy metals? Yeah! I'm not talking about the heavy metals in the junkyard. I'm talking about the heavy metals that build up in your body. Heavy metals in your body can make you feel sluggish, fatigued, and just plain off. Why not try Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? Cleansing your body and making you feel great. Cleansing the inside of your body of intruders that sneak their way into you and set up an intruder camp. Life Change Tea helps remove unwanted intruder camps. Brew it, steep it, and drink in the results. Tastes great, so you can create a new health habit. Our tea loves to help people. It just needs the chance. So order yours today by logging on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our Life Change Super Strength Tea is waiting. This could be a beautiful relationship. Take charge of your health. Order at GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
This is Rev Dan Lopez from Spiritual Warrior Today Radio, and you're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
You're listening to Lighting the Void Radio.
Astral travel, magic, mysticism, and manifestation. What used to be heresy should be understood as our birthright. These are some of the topics we discuss on Lighting the Void, where we take you deep into the unknown. There are guest interviews, live unscreened calls, and me, Joe Root. Come join our family of explorers of consciousness, weeknights at 9 p.m. Pacific time to 11, right here on KTLK Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM. Have you ever wanted to dream about being a character in your favorite video game or movie? Would you like to dream your fantasy with all 5 senses in detail and remember everything? It's time to bring the dream in mind back online. Introducing Dreaming for Gamers from Ian Wilson.
Dreaming for Gamers will teach you how to program your dreams to dream what you want from any video game, movie, or source material that you choose. The courses help rehabilitate the dreaming mind out of atrophy so you can remember your dreams, taste, touch, smell, see, and hear, as well as be self-aware and take complete control over the dream state like Neo in The Matrix. You can't catch COVID in a dream, but you can wake up with a happy ending.
Type in thefringe.fm/dreamplay and sign up today to get dreaming now. That's thefringe.fm/dreamplay, or click the banner at thefringe.fm today and take the 7-day dream challenge for free while it lasts. This is my favorite bomb beat right here. I hope you guys, if you're full of energy, at least tell me, take a video of you dancing in your living room for me while you're listening to Lighting the Void. That would be great. Tonight our guest is Jerome Headley. We're talking about his experiences with energy, actually, and alchemy and the law of one. And during the break I was talking to Jerome about feeling energy, and I kind of I guess I don't know if I want to go into detail about things, but I totally understand what you're talking about when you can feel energy, because I do kind of my own practices and healing with that stuff. When you feel it, And then sometimes you have visions. I don't know, but I really want to hear your stories. Tell me about the first time you had a big energetic experience with this stuff.
All right, so the first time I had, it was that defining. It still is very, very fresh on my mind. Where while I was studying, I joined a meditation class, right, that the university was offering.
Okay.
And so I think that was transcendental meditation, where they would use like a mantra, but they use so I think it's Soham, which means I am. And so I was sitting there. And before I never used to do meditation at all, really. I just was able to I just knew I was able to tap into to the energies. I would be able to sense people's energies from within them, stuff like that. But at this point, I actually sat and did the meditation with them, and maybe 5 minutes in or so, I'm again, in these states, time is different. So, but it felt like 5 minutes. As soon as I got in to the meditation, I felt like a whoosh, and I saw in front of me within my consciousness, because I appeared in a void, and I saw like a light. It looked like pixels of light dancing in front of me.
Oh, nice.
Right, and it felt like a feminine, it felt very feminine, because it was moving very sensual in a way, right, like just dancing around. Right, and I remember the meditation guide was saying before that we could in the state of meditation or the silence, we can ask anything, right? So upon me observing this, what I call the form and the formlessness, it started to come closer, and I asked it, I asked it, who am I? And it didn't answer. It just continued to dance.
Well, real quick, you took no psychedelics. This was all from meditation.
No psychedelics. This is all just breathing, just the breath.
Okay.
Right. And and so when I asked it again, who am I? It again, it seemed like if it ignored me. And then when I released the wanting to have the question answered, it stopped, and it created a sound, like a frequency, like a wow, almost like if you turn on a device, like a Xbox or something.
I gotcha. Okay.
Right, and it started to form into all the pixels that made up this shape, or this formlessness, start to form into various aspects of, they look like beings, like alien beings. And it started to funnel down into different stair steps of creation, basically showing me the different layers and levels of consciousness, and different types of life forms. And eventually this pixelated energy started to form into a humanoid being, and then eventually it formed into a reflection of me, right? And when I saw that, I got startled, and I jumped out of the meditation, and so at that same time, the meditation was actually over. So the guide actually said, bring your awareness back to the room and stuff like that. And I remember him asking everyone if they had any experiences to share, and how was it? And no one answered. No one said. The few people that said anything were saying they just saw colors, or they
You were thinking, I got an experience, but you're not going to believe me. That's what I'd be thinking.
And when they shared it, when they shared the experience, like everyone looked around at me like if I was nuts. Like they were like, yo, what is he saying? Even the instructor, which was really confusing for me, because you would think that, you know, that's my first experience actually going into meditation. Certain people have been experiencing or going into meditation for years, but yet clueless as to like the experience that I just experienced back then. So it again drove me into like researching and like checking out what it was, and then who I came across. I actually remember then being at the barber and there was this guy sitting down talking about an experience he had on DMT, right? And he was actually describing a very similar thing. And then when I mentioned it as the form and the formlessness, he stopped the barber from cutting his hair, and he turned around and looked at me and he asked me if I saw it too, right? But again, interesting enough, like he had his experience through DMT, but I had my experience through just breath. So then I realized that breath in itself, just breath work alone, like you essentially go through what some may call the front door of your consciousness.
No mantra, just breathing.
That one that I did that got me into the form and the formlessness, I used the mantra Soham. Right?
Okay.
Which is
Soham.
Meaning of I am. Soham, yeah. Right? So you just drop it into your awareness as you breathe deeply.
Now the feminine energy, this is something I've had experience with before doing this kind of stuff. Did you say you saw it, but did you felt it as feminine energy?
Yeah, I felt it as feminine energy. The way how it was moving, everything, like it felt very, I would say it felt very, very, very loving, but at the same time it wasn't taking any like BS.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't taking my like me not being patient and allowing. Like I was very I was bringing a lot of like masculine energy into terms of
feminine,
like,
yeah. Now that's what I was going to ask you, because do you think that the feminine energy showed up because you have a lot of, on a balanced scale, you're more masculine, so naturally when you look into spirit, there's going to be a reflection of a lot of feminine energy there.
Yeah. I actually,
you get what I'm saying, don't you?
I get you. Yep. That's exactly what it is. I believe that to be true. I know that to be true because I had other experiences then of there was this friend that he was studying psychology, and he basically taught me a technique of actually closing my eyes and observing, like what I see is like pixels. When I close my eyes, I see the same form and the formlessness in pixels within my consciousness, right, within my mind. And he was essentially telling me to zoom my awareness into one of the pixels or points of light, basically bringing your focus into a center point of awareness, like a laser. And what I started to feel was a mental, what he called mental traveling. So, but I felt my body almost like going into like a, what you would imagine to be like a warp drive, warp speed, feeling that motion. And as I started to continue focusing on the point of light, it opened up into a tunnel, and I essentially, through my consciousness, had to follow this tunnel. And he basically instructed me to remain aware and focus as I reach to the till the consciousness in the tunnel actually changed. So the tunnel actually changed into an ocean of alphabets, or letters, or letters and symbols basically floating on an ocean of water, right? Like a dark, maybe like a murky water, and then the water turned to like a blue, dark blue, and then a light blue. And then it opened up into a white room, similar to the room you would see in the Matrix movie, what they call it the construct.
Right? Yeah, that's right. Well, the Matrix, the construct in there, yeah.
Right. So he then told me I would be able to create any object I wanted to, but to have the object be as simple as possible in the beginning, because it's going to be hard to hold or maintain the construct. And so I visualized or intended to create a pencil drawn triangle. And upon doing that, the pencil drawn triangle actually started to basically like turn into like almost like if you somebody took like an eraser or like took their hand and they like smudged it, right? And it jumped me out of the experience. And when I actually became aware or came back to my awareness in this reality here, when I checked the time, a whole hour and a half had gone. But to me, it felt like if it was only like 5 minutes. And so practicing this technique of going into this construct, eventually after 2 days, I started to hear a feminine voice talking to me, almost sounding like similar to like how in Iron Man he has the AI talking in his suit. So it kind of interacted like that to me, telling me the stuff that I would be able to do in terms of like essentially like clearing certain aspects of my consciousness. It told me basically, welcome to the construct. You are now able to access certain programs within your consciousness. You're able to, at that time, I was being able to like basically like store certain memories into like folders and stuff like that. And then again, cool. It started to expand even more. But that experience, I guess I started to, I didn't do it as much. I realized that it was like various experiences that I've had. All of them, if not most of them, I have interacted with. The consciousness would speak to me in a feminine voice. So again, it confirms what you were actually mentioning in terms of the feminine essence or the aspect.
Right.
Yeah, I've had a lot of experiences with communicating with
the feminine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you know what the thing is too is this is what I try to talk about the divine masculine is when you've communicated with that a lot, right? And then you go out into the world and you try to express yourself as a masculine. A lot of the times, the real world will interpret you as a more of a feminine type guy, but you're really not. You just understand it more, you know?
Yeah, it's because is the balance that comes into the aspect of it. So if your energy, if your consciousness was more of a left brain, then aspects of it need to be balanced out in experiencing more of the feminine. So for example, like I would mention this to different people about this. I have a lot of awareness in terms of accessing certain aspects of my consciousness, tuning into certain aspects of others as well and assisting them. More of my meditations or the access that I've tuned into has been through the more masculine like divine masculine aspect in terms of like traveling, astral traveling, projecting.
Yeah.
You know, doing what I do is I could create constructs within my consciousness, like forms of light, and actually like create like, okay, for example, like I've tapped into what I call the crystalline bridge, or like a Bifrost. If you see it like that, it looks like a Bifrost that you would see in like the Thor movies. But what I notice is like, as I walk on this construct or this consciousness, this bridge, I'm able to see gates approaching the timeline, right, or the reality. And upon approaching these gates within the consciousness, because all of it exists within, what I notice is that the Schumann resonance would increase, or some change would happen in the world. Or if you have like if I have like Piscean friends, or like different people, I would actually notice like certain people would go through certain emotional changes, certain stuff would come up to clear every time I observe this gate passing. In my awareness, that was me tapping into more of that. It was me like being able to tap into like more of the masculine, again, the traveling aspect of my consciousness, being able to project my consciousness into different worlds or realms within myself, right? Whereas the feminine aspect now is like I said, I would tell people I don't really meditate in terms of what people would consider to be meditation, in terms of like sitting still and allowing your mind to be still.
You're integrating into the
right?
Yeah.
Right. So in its aspects now, or of recent, especially last year, when I started to tap into the feminine essence, because that's what the feminine was for the whole while trying to show me. Tapping in or tuning in to that aspect of just allowing for that integration, right? Sitting in that silence, it brought me into a merger within my consciousness, which allowed me to tune into the crystalline heart within the essence of my being, allowing me to tap into the crystalline awareness a lot more. And it's an ongoing process. It always is, going up. We always are going to be discovering more aspects of ourselves that we have we haven't connected to, or we are integrating still. And that's the beauty of the journey. That's what brings the excitement for me all the time, that in itself there really is no end, right? It's always progression. So,
but at some point, doesn't it get overwhelming? I mean, because I remember some meditations that I was doing like that, but I don't even know if you call them meditations, more like breathing type stuff. But it got to the point to where the energy, and maybe my body wasn't balanced and ready for it, but it got to the point to where my ears were ringing from it. Yeah, I'm not real sure what was going on there, but I remember that.
So the aspects of it all depends on the on your energetic signature, your different aspects of the programs. I
think I had some blocks there, maybe.
Right, because I noticed, for example, is Gerald O'Donnell. I was doing some of his meditations, which again is, I would say, is like a mixture of that like silencing of the mind or the consciousness, but also integrating aspects of your own projection and moving in through your awareness or your visualizations into deeper aspects of your consciousness. So another experience that I had was actually through that experience, in terms of doing the it's more like hypnosis, so like self-hypnosis, and actually tapping into like a a room within my consciousness where there's like a computer and you're able to like type in, okay, what are the latest downloads that I have, and like I would see like actual like downloads like listed out within my awareness. Like, okay, you have blah blah blah, you have sound integration, third eye integration, different chakras, and I would be able to basically like press the blue tick on the side of it, and it would actually start to download. And like 3 days later, when I check it again, the download completed, or however long it takes, because we have certain blocks within our consciousness that would block certain downloads or certain uploads, I would say. But I noticed that some of them would be pending, right, within your consciousness. And so I would be able to do certain things like for example, again, like have the intention to like maybe change my sensitivity of energy. So like I would intend to see like or visualize like a knob. So for me, my consciousness, I talk to my consciousness as if it's like I choose to talk to my awareness, because my awareness communicates with me like again, similar to like how you have like the same Iron Man speaking to like the body, speaking to the suit, right? So I would say, okay, show me all the downloads that are pending, and in my consciousness I would get certain downloads, and I would say, okay, allow for me to download X, whatever downloads they have, and I would start to get certain levels of awareness coming through into my field. I would be able to see from the inside of my awareness through my perceptions, my it's physical like, reality.
Neo in the Matrix, and he's like, right. I'm going to learn jiu-jitsu, and he's like, yep, right, and he just plugs it into his head. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So even for example, like changing the sensitivity of my awareness, I could say, okay, change my awareness or sensitivity of energy from maybe 60% to 80%, and it would actually change. So I would be able to then because from what I remember when I was younger, I actually closed off that awareness, that we call it clear sentience. Certain levels of feeling others' emotions, feeling especially their deeper emotions, the emotions that they don't show on the surface, right? So I remember from young, I actually closed that off. So through my recent times of me being able to process it more as an adult, I actually started to integrate it, but I was becoming more, I would say more in control of that integration, which is again that aspect of the masculine that we talked about. In terms of me actually trying to now control the integration aspect. So the feminine aspect coming in allowed for that balance of it's a beautiful union in terms of allowing.
Yeah, I know.
Right? You setting the course and allowing it to occur. So, but yeah, so I go.
But you asked the feminine energy for truth, and what did it do? It just threw it right back at you. Like, who am I?
Yep. Right.
It said, this is who you are, right? And then it was real direct with you.
Yep. That's exactly how it is.
And you got that impatient vibe, like it didn't like your impatience, even with the question that you asked, huh?
Yep. Yeah. And patience is really important, especially in on the whole spiritual journey. A lot of people could tend to, and I was like that. I was very like a young buck, just trying to activate my third eye, and then even realizing the root is very important. All clearing the lower chakras, activating the heart. The heart is the key in a lot of it, because our resonance. So that's another experience that I had. had a true meditation again. I actually noticed, or I came into the vision of actually seeing pixels, right? Pixelations of light communications actually emanating from within the heart space.
Wow.
And surrounding me. In that would be like my toroidal field or my aura.
Yeah, Jerome, I hate to tell you this, buddy, but we got to take our top of the hour break here. I'm not trying to interrupt you or anything, man, because this stuff is good to me. Like, cause I'm going through a lot of this stuff too, actually. So I just want to hear what you have to say, because I think you've definitely done it a lot more than me. Look, we'll be right back. You got the Rogie Report coming up. Also, you can call in at 1-800-588-0335. Jerome Headley, our guest. More Lighting the Void. Stay with us.
Hey Fringe listeners, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange Radio, asking you to join us live Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Fringe FM. Visit beyondthestrange.com for links to chat, social media, and schedules of the show. And remember, always stay strange. Hasta.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Hey, this is Amalia from Know the Self Mystery School. I know that you are in the midst of massive change. We all are. This is the great turning, the time that we all decided to be here on the planet. Do you know why you came here to be a part of this crazy time? If not, I invite you to join my mystery school. I have a 9-week course called Activate Your Mission. And in this course, you're going to learn how to erect crystal clear boundaries so that you can hear that inner still voice that's going to guide your every move. Even if you're dealing with feeling weighed down by obligation and being enslaved to the system, this course is going to give you the tools you need to illuminate your shadow and awaken to your soul's mission. The moment you sign up to the school, you are going to be greeted by not only a group of soulful spiritual warriors, but you're also going to get some massive karmic clearings, and you're going to feel the energy. It's palpable. I hope you'll join me in the school where together we're going to unlock your divine mission.
Activate your mission by going to thefringe.fm/soul mission and put in the code word Fringe and receive $50 off today.
This is the Rogie Report News on the Fringe FM. I'm Jess Rogie. In 2020 news, the Department of Justice announced in a memo on Monday that New York City, Portland, and Seattle would officially be deemed anarchist jurisdictions. Sarah Wallace, NBC New York, explains.
Summer's looting in New York City and similar instances in Portland and Seattle, prompting the Department of Justice to smack the three cities with an anarchist jurisdiction title, claiming they, quote, have permitted violence and destruction of property to persist and have refused to undertake reasonable measures to counteract criminal activities.
The declaration could result in loss of funding for the cities. Is this the best time to be digging up old sarcophagi? 27 stone sarcophagi have been discovered in a necropolis at Saqqara. Now, it's a necropolis, and that's a burial site, so wow, they discovered stone coffins at a burial site. The sarcophagi were found in a burial shaft and have been dated back nearly 2,500 years. 14 sarcophagi were discovered, in addition to the 13 found earlier this month. Archaeologists also discovered a small wooden obelisk painted with depictions of Isis, Nephis, and Horus. The Tourism and Antiquities Minister believes that the 27 sarcophagi is only the beginning of more discoveries at Saqqara. There's probably more discoveries because they haven't dug them up yet at the necropolis where they buried people. So of course there's going to be more discoveries. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources has had an announcement. Bigfoot isn't real, or at least the Department of Natural Resources bulletin titled Sasquatch Alert isn't real either. A bulletin has been floating around on social media with the DNR and the U.S. Forest Service's logo stating that there had been recent Sasquatch sightings in the area. And the post warns campers to keep a close lookout for any sightings. The post says, if contact is made with the Sasquatch, try to stay calm and do not run. If possible, try to take a photograph, note the time, and the area of the sighting. So maybe it was left by Bigfoot hunters. As the air turns crisp and the nights cool down, creepy clown sightings have started again. The trend started back in 2016, and every year, starting in August and ending in October, clowns have already been spotted in the UK, Kentucky, and California. This is the Rogie Report News on the Fringe FM. I'm Jess Rogie.
Born out of the alchemical tradition of Paracelsus is a medical tradition called Spagyria. Though not many people practice this work today, Phoenix Aurelius has been researching and teaching this work for the last 15 years, and he needs your support.
Hi, I'm Phoenix Aurelius, and I'm the founder of the Phoenix Aurelius Research Society, where I perform modern scientific research on the methods and techniques of Paracelsian alchemy and Spagyria for health, wellness, agriculture, ecology, and more. All my work is 100% funded by the public, so if you like what I'm doing and you want to support my research, please consider making a purchase of spagyric medicines from my apothecary, fund your own spagyric IDF wellness research, or participate in my group study or one-on-one immersion courses so that you can learn how to perform this work for yourself. I want to thank you in advance for your support.
Visit thefringe.fm/alchemy research and enter coupon code FRINGE and receive 15% off anything and everything on the website. That's thefringe.fm/alchemy research. And thank you for doing your part and keeping alchemy alive in the modern day.
You're listening to KTLK, the Fringe FM.
To call Joe, pick up the phone, dial 1-800-588-0335, toll free from the United States or Canada.
That's right. You can call in at 1-800-588-0335. That is a toll-free number to the station. We're here with Jerome Headley, our guest tonight, having some pretty wild experiences with energy, but also helping others with this energy too. I think that's fantastic, man. And before we went into the break, you were talking about another experience, and I had to kind of cut you off, brother. I'm sorry, but
yeah, it's all right.
Go ahead though. You were talking about the pixels.
Right. So
yeah.
Right. So I was seeing. This is an experience I had with the connection to the heart center, our core resonance field, as I call it, where I saw pixels. I was seeing pixels coming off from this core field, this core center in the heart, and it was essentially, from what I was observing, it was creating the reality around me, right? And the further it went, the less energy it had. The closer it was to me, the more pixels clumped up to give a feeling of being solid. And that was just from, again, just breathing, breath work, just allowing, tapping into that, allowing that letting go aspect. More, again, the feminine essence, So so recently I started then tuning into a lot of the programs, aspects of the programs that actually block our resonance field from coming through into the expression of our own reality through perception. So again, so when I think about the blocks or like the programs within our resonance field, for example, you mentioned that you were getting a lot of ringing in your ears, right? So you were for me, when I get ringing, I usually pay attention or have an observation of whether it's my left ear or my right, or the pitch, how it sounds, how it feels, right?
Well, it sounded like kind of like a train whistle would, like whoo, like that at first, and then it would go whoo, and then I was like, whoa, and I could feel it in my chest, I could feel it in my stomach. But my ears were ringing, man. And it kind of freaked me out because like maybe I'm either blocked or I can't handle this energy that's coming through or something,
Right. Were you receiving any like physical pain? You were getting any physical pain or discomfort?
No, just pressure.
Okay, so your pressure. Let me see. Bioenergetic system scan. So I kind of seeing like the energy basically like coming up from like your root chakra, and then it basically like skipped. Well, this is what I'm seeing. It's skipping two of the chakras and then going up into your throat chakra.
Okay.
So it's you're receiving downloads or more so uploads from your consciousness. Let me see. So if you would like, I could create an adjustment for you in terms of within your chakra system.
You gonna do it live on the air?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
All right.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm cool with it, man. I'm not afraid to let anybody in.
Great. So, essentially, what I usually do is I do the same thing that as I told you before, I do in terms of speaking to my own consciousness. Since we're all reflections, right, of our creations or creations or reflections of the one, of the all. So let me see. Okay, so balance. Let me see, Joe. Okay, so tapping into your energetic field. At least that aspect of the visual that I was showing in terms of skipping, we're gonna just balance bring the communication back into balance when it comes to your chakras, bringing them into a center point of awareness. Allowing for the uploads to be more clear, right? So should feel, if once you tune into it, you should feel a shift. You're getting a shift within your solar plexus area.
That's so crazy, dude. I felt, I swear on everything, my stomach just twisted.
So it's coming into balance. Okay, so bring it into balance, resonance. So it's going to come up into your heart space, your heart chakra, because it was skipping the solar plexus and the heart and going into the throat, right? So it's going to come into the heart. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you're familiar with like language. So it's like a like code sequence language that comes through as like a it's a higher form of light frequency. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is just speak it as a resonance tone, and it should assist in the rebalancing as well. Ifa twatimu ku fut tayetu jis tayentu mwati ele wa taya jun mati So it's gonna come into a resonance. Now you're gonna feel it coming through the throat chakra.
That's so crazy, man.
It's coming up into the third eye. Crown. Okay. Right. So the solar plexus is gonna be adjusting a little more. You may want to check out a herb called I don't know if you're familiar with harataki.
No, sorry.
Right. You can check it out after the show. It helps with what harataki does is that it basically like balances the gut. But what it does is it provides the body with, or the brain with 300% oxygen. So it a lot of people in India actually use it, and some people actually report and state that it brings a greater awareness. Some people actually develop siddhis, which are like divine powers, because I guess of the oxygen in the brain, or being able to access more of your brain. So yeah, it works really good. So I think that would actually help as well too in the rebalancing. But yeah, just balance your chakras.
It's not as easy as everybody thinks it is, right? Because you go back and you study all the mystery teachings and every book you can read on it, and they're like, oh, you open up one chakra at a time, and
right.
It's like,
so
okay.
all of it is from, even my own awareness of all this is from like years of like working on myself and like studying, and like I said, I had to like learn aspects of the quantum physics, and then like bringing that in together then with the feminine aspect of the like letting go and allowing, because that's how the reality works in like a I see it like a push-pull kind of, or like the electric and the magnetic, so the electromagnetic field or resonance. Let me see. Okay, so aspects or programs within the consciousness are going to be able to upload within your awareness now. So like in maybe like a few days or even a few hours, you should be able to actually feel more into yourself, because that's where it is. That's where the journey is, right? So you're going to be able to feel more into yourself. You may actually notice a lot of shifts when it comes to your own ability to actually tune into deeper aspects of yourself, especially now with the energy shifts that are occurring. And we just actually passed the gateway for the equinox as well too.
Right.
So a lot of the energetic shifts that we're going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks are going to be a huge letting go aspect for the collective, but also a journey from within ourselves personally, right? So
and I got to tell you too, last night was the first time I actually astral traveled in a long time, and I remembered. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. So you're gonna notice, especially around this time here, we because the energy is increasing so much, we are gonna be able to again tune into so much more of ourselves. For those who choose to be or choose to experience that level of awareness.
Well, doesn't it come back to, again, the beginning of what you talked about, as wild as this may sound to some people, but it all starts, like people are, I don't think you're ever going to experience it without starting by listening to the intuition, just like yours tried to talk to you in the beginning,
Yep. So it's definitely, really important right now to tune in to those aspects of our intuition where you receive the messages, as you were saying there.
How do you do that though? I mean, does it really just sound like a voice, or how do you tell the difference between your intuition and your ego?
What I do is I feel into my body more so, because that's where I actually, I notice that the body talks to me. Some aspects I think you would hear like Bruce Lipton or Dr. Joe Dispenza talking about it as well too, in terms of the body being like subconscious or connected to the subconscious mind. The body tends to, others tend to say that the higher self actually speaks through the resonance of the body as well, connecting into like certain emotions. So depending on how you feel, it would indicate almost like a guiding compass. So how I determine aspects of it in terms of whether it's ego or like higher self or my consciousness, my pure essence consciousness, I would tune into my heart field and ask the question within there, and or if it comes through as a feeling, right? It comes through as a feeling for me, but again, it comes through as a feeling so strong it could be a voice. So I would hear aspects of it even now as it so it says tuning into the resonance field of your purest awareness, understanding true love and awareness from within the heart, dear souls. You are here to experience and express what it means to be love. So something like that, right? Where it comes true, and I hear it as like a overtone within my awareness. So I could give a few tips on even learning to tune into that aspect. One of the things that assisted me, one of the techniques that assisted me in actually tuning into that was starting off with seeing if you're able to visualize a sound, right? Are you able to, if for example, if I tell you to visualize an apple, are you able to see the apple, right? Are you able to, if you're not able to see the apple, are you able to like grab the apple? Are you able to feel it? If you're a visualization, are you able, if you bite it, are you able to hear the crunch, right? So certain stuff like that would then, like an exercise like that.
Making me want an apple right now.
Yeah. So that's essentially tuning into the reality of the apple. So you would be able to then have an indication essentially on which senses are actually active, right? Based on that, because I've noticed that some people would be able to visualize, but they don't visualize in color. They would see in black and white.
Really?
Yeah. Or some people are able to they're able to feel and hear, but not see. Right? Wow. So essentially, what I learned is that all of us have our own unique skills based on our energetics or our blueprint, right? Based on what we have been working on as a soul. So some people have the ability, for example, for me, I feel see, right? So I feel first, and then I get a sonar, basically, of what I'm feeling. So that's how I was able to actually tune into your, in terms of the chakra and feeling the jump from the solar plexus or skipping the heart into the throat. I would feel it and then I would see it as like an analogy, right? So other people have their own, some people hear, they just hear, they don't see, they don't feel, they hear, right? So they would get messages coming through really strong, a voice telling them, their consciousness telling them about certain things. So through my whole process of learning myself, I noticed, like, in terms of like trying to like see or tap into certain skills and abilities, I noticed that me comparing myself with others' skills actually hindered my own growth of me actually tuning into my own unique gifts, my, what they call your alien uniqueness. So, so yeah, I through that exercise, that basic exercise of actually going through a process of visualization, I'm able to pinpoint aspects of your own skills, and then I would be able to assist in tuning into those aspects, or assisting others in tuning into those aspects within themselves. So, but again, that I see that, or those skills, as we want to say like byproducts of you actually tuning in or tapping into deeper aspects of yourself, which is again the main goal, right? The ascension is really an ascension, a going within. So
yeah, and I think too, like well, you were talking about love earlier. What I've noticed is, I mean, like when you get the opportunity to actually express that, it connects all kinds of things inside you, you know. And see, and I think I don't know if there's some type of force that was working against that, but I really think there is, right? Like all this COVID stuff and they're just trying to separate and disconnect people. And I don't know if it's just a force that's doing what it's supposed to do, but it's definitely working against the connecting side of things, you know?
Because it's essentially, you could see it as like if there's the crystalline, there's the anti-Christ or the anti-Christ consciousness, right? Which is supporting like stagnation, fear, death, right?
Hopelessness.
Like a closed loop consciousness, right? Very linear. So you're seeing the energy in itself actually right now manifesting a lot of the energy is being it's being smothered. is either they take the love, they hold the love, or they go, right? So that's what's happening now. We moving into a different age, a different era, and the energy is increasing. It's not slowing down. It's not holding back for anyone. And so in itself, it manifests in certain ways. I see on the bigger scale with the whole the aspect of the virus and all that stuff. Like, you know, I try to move out of the realm of who did it and stuff like that, and move into like a larger perspective of coming to the understanding that the consciousness, the cosmos, whatever you wish to call it, right? The form and the formlessness is bringing its awareness into this realm of existence, and we're coming into the remembrance of ourselves. And this is how it's manifesting. The reality has already been shifted. So we just basically like watching the aftermath of that shift that already occurred within.
Yeah, it's making everybody deal with their stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's making everybody deal with their stuff. Me, you, everybody. Like whatever. Or if you've balanced yourself out, then it's pushing you to live your purpose more too. You know, like crazy.
So it's so the more we actually again at this time like tune into ourselves actually, and I wouldn't tell people that it's easy at all, like actually dealing with yourself, right? But there is beauty in it when you actually you face it and you come out of it. in terms of seeing it from a different perspective, having a different perception on the whole thing. It changes. It changes. The entire reality changes damn near instant at times. You will wake up the next day and you will feel completely different. You will see the sky outside, and is a completely different experience for you, because that's what we're moving into. And I see it as a collective, but it's very much so individuated as well, because think about it, you could be sitting next to someone and like the sun is hot for them and they're complaining, but the sun is great for you.
Yeah, and if you're not careful, if you don't balance that out, you're going to be complaining right there with them. And then the next thing you're going to know, you're going to be like, why am I doing this? What am I doing? It's kind of like when you watch Star Wars, and it's like you can't blame people. We always want to point our finger at people, bad people, but it's the energies, it's the principalities and powers that are playing with people.
Yep. The Force. When you look at it in Star Wars, they talk about the Force, and then there's the dark side of the Force, the light side, and then there's the neutral, what they call the Grey Jedi.
I need to make a movie about the Grey Jedi. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, they should. When you think about it, right, the Grey Jedi, Luke Skywalker, I believe, was a Grey Jedi.
Yeah.
Who in him, Qui-Gon Jinn in the Star Wars Episode 1 was a Grey Jedi, or he embodied aspects of the Grey Jedi teachings. I think in the last one, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but
no, we've all seen it.
Right. So she actually became what I believe to be a Grey Jedi as well.
Yeah.
From my interpretation, because it showed that she was a child of Palpatine, and that's what they revealed, right? Yeah. Yeah. And it wanted her to tap into that dark side of the Force, but
yeah. The real question is why does the girl go straight to the dark side so fast?
Right. Yeah, I think because in the aspect she was, I don't know, like you see it in the aspect of being on one side too far on one end, and so like you experience the direct opposite of that end, and in itself the center path, the middle path, which is where she started to tap into.
Yeah. Oh, we got to take our last break here, Jerome. Talking Star Wars too, buddy. I hate to cut you off there, but
all right.
We'll be right back. Shortest break.
What you believe might not be. Step into the zone of the best unknown. Conspiracies and cover-ups, and to the paranormal we go.
I'm Jeremy Scott. Travel with me into the paranormal. Live Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on the Fringe FM.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
We all have that story to tell in our lives. The winds were howling, the ground shook, you could hear rushing water, and then history repeats itself. When there's no power, refrigeration fails, stores with their shelves strip bare, ATMs can't operate, deliveries stop. Then what? These events can last days or weeks. You need a plan. In statements made during recent interviews, FEMA Administrator Brock Long has repeatedly urged all Americans to understand three truths. FEMA is broke, the system is broken. If this is the new normal, Americans can't rely on federal cavalry when disaster strikes. Don't get caught out in the elements empty-handed. Prepare with us by going to preparewiththefringe.com and get your 2-week food supply. 92 servings, 8 food varieties with 25-year shelf life. Normally $137, now only $75. Or get a month's supply, normally $247, now only $147, shipped in one business day. Just go to preparewiththefringe.com or call 888-440-7931. That's 888-440-7931. Get this great offer and be prepared while it lasts.
Hey Fringe FM listeners, did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or no Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the Fringe FM by calling 701-719-3971. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 701-719-3971. That's 701-719-3971. Listen to the Fringe FM on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Are you stressed? I mean, who isn't? Anxiety creeping in? No, not that. Is sleep hard to attain because your brain just won't slow down? We're living in crazy times, and the fear knob has been turned up. Okay, there's an answer. Take a big breath, exhale, and go log on to AncientLifeOil.com. CBD, broad and full spectrum, organic and non-GMO CBD for you to enjoy. Change your tune from fear to calm, from brain overload to clear thinking. 0.003 THC on full spectrum and 0% THC on broad spectrum. Competitive pricing with the best quality. Also know everything is going to get better. No worries, be happy. CBD can help calm so your nerves don't think they're a 6-string electric guitar. Enjoy life, smile, and log on to AncientLifeOil.com for great CBD. That's AncientLifeOil.com. You'll be glad you did.
All right, man, this is Crow 777, and you are listening to The Fringe FM.
The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable will be on. Both this show and The Secret Teachings come on 5 nights a week here on the Fringe FM. And tonight we're here with our guest, Jerome Headley. Not even afraid to do a little Reiki and speak a little light language on the air. I give you that, man. That's pretty cool. Most people wouldn't do that.
Great.
Matter of fact, the last person that ever did that on the show, I think, I forget her name, but she spoke like Palladian or something like that, and did that on the air. But I will say, like, I do think that the separation is an illusion in some sense of the word, that we are all connected regardless of distance, even though we like physical connection. That's why we're here, honestly. You know, to learn love and connection and experience the physical world. But, this virus thing has really got a lot of people tripped up, man. It's making everybody deal with themselves, but it's also making people feel alone and isolated too, you know? So,
it's a challenging time for everybody.
We should all just go to Barbados.
Yeah, man. I mean, they're allowing they have they're allowing like a year. You could stay a year or more. No.
Yeah.
Yes, on the World Cup. Yeah.
You got a good high speed connection. I'll be down there next week. We get this thing
man.
going.
Nah, the internet here is pretty good, you know. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would rather be in Barbados. Like, I'm close to the riots here in New York. You know, when you get around bad energy, man, you can feel it. And I know it sounds woo-woo to some people, but really right now, the veils are thin. Like, you can feel energy. Big time.
Real thin. Yep. And it's getting thinner, like, as we move into, like, that, what would they call it? The, like, Halloween?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Around that time is when it gets even, you know? So, I'm sure we're going to see. Actually, it's around that time I actually had an experience where I had dreadlocks, right? And
nice.
My consciousness told me, yo, like it's time to let go of certain other aspects. So the hair was one of them, because I would have had my hair while I was studying in when I was in Trinidad, and I was going through my various transformations and stuff like that.
Oh man, but you're so invested in that, and it took time and investment and care. You don't want to just let it go.
Well, yeah, but that's
the point, right?
That was the ultimate test, because in my own awareness of observing the same Bifrost or the Rainbow Bridge, what occurred was I saw like myself like holding a very large bag, and when I cut my hair, like I released the bag and it broke the road behind me.
Wow.
Right? And so
yeah,
I see it as that reflection in itself, because with the delay of the energy or the manifestation, that energy, and for a lot of people, I'm sure, like listening, they would have probably had, if they think back, they would have probably gone through some aspects of letting go, depending on
you want to hear some really weird hermetic stuff, Jerome?
Tell me.
All right, so you're talking about the Rainbow Bridge and letting go, right now. Mm-hmm. I just got back from Niagara Falls, and when I got to that place, I saw rainbows going across the falls, right? And I looked at the water, and I was like, I got all this emotional baggage and negative junk. I want it gone. I don't want it. And the waterfall's like telling me, it's like, let it go, right? Let it go. And I went down there and stood in the where the splash is so bad you just get wet, right?
Right.
And then you look up and there's a bridge that goes to Canada, and across it says the Rainbow Bridge.
Yo.
Tell me that's not a synchronicity.
Wow, yeah. Wow. That's a huge synchronicity, and then it links into the
equinox and everything, huh?
Yeah, and then the work that we just did there so earlier, then in the last segment there with the connecting it, because the heart chakra, or the connection between like the solar plexus and the heart, you could even see that as a rainbow bridge as well, because there's a connection into like the fifth, right, or the
That's
fourth.
What I'm trying to tell everybody, man. I'm a hermeticist, so it's like as above, so below. What we see in our life is really what's going on in our spirit.
Insight, right? Yep. Same exact thing. So you had a reflection in itself in the inner verse, and it showed you a reflection on your outer. Similarly, connecting into even this point or this moment here in this conversation right now, as you see the interconnected nature of our reality and how everything is woven together beautifully in a like an orchestra of of cymatic beauty.
Yeah, and if you think it's like it's all just random, but stuff, you just got to pay attention. It's all there.
That's all it is, paying attention, and that's where the communication comes in with our consciousness, and connecting into the various aspects of our being, the masculine and the feminine, the divine masculine and feminine, coming out of the programs of the the programs of what have been
of the media. All you got to do is turn on any pop radio station, and you're going to hear songs about, oh, my heart breaks, and you're a piece of junk, but I do bad sexual things, and everybody's out of balance, and red flag this and red flag that.
Yeah, and that's the stuff.
Where's the love?
Exactly. That's the stuff that gets all the airplay, all of it, and again is like a bat feeding. Like they bat feed into the consciousness where, again, like is we become, as it was saying, you are what you eat.
Yeah, that's right.
So in itself is what you consume, and that's why we have like all the orifices, like all these entrances or portals within our head, right? Where what you see, or what you hear, what you eat, what you smell, all these things, basically these are your customs, right? Your eyes, your ears, your mouth. And that's why like all of this stuff is connected into like the food and the like GMOs and glyphosate, right? Which is then again connected into gut health, which for me and my research,
like the brain of the body,
connected into that. And so like you got there are aspects of it that create, like if you have like organs. So I made some YouTube videos on that, on unified energetics, and it connects into like me realizing the connection of portals, like energetic portals in the organs of the body. And so the organs in itself are filters, and those are connected into the chakras as well. And essentially some people can do like a physical body cleanse, and that would bring them out of like an energetic muck or basically break open like a chrysalis or prism, or if you look at the word prism, sounds close to prison, right? Which is like a trapping of the mind in itself, a prison that we can't see. One more if you say a prison that you can't see, taste or touch, a prison of the mind, right? So the movies also plant programs within the consciousness, which allows for people unbeknownst to them to create a reality that they don't necessarily want, right? So they basically hijack your canvas and grab your hand and draw your on your canvas basically, but again bringing it back into self. We essentially have a choice in itself right now to basically unhinge from those programs, which would have been a self. I see it as like a challenge in itself from the cosmos to come down into the lowest state of awareness, forget about who you are completely, and then have the ability, the strength to actually come into your awareness now, come out of the muck, and come into the full awareness of who you are as the expression of the divine source here on this realm or plane.
I think where people get tossed up is sometimes they get tossed up with the expression and the oneness, and then they also have desire, and they say, well, my desire is my downfall. I don't deserve what I desire. But I think the real question is why are you telling yourself you don't deserve it? And number two, does your heart desire it? Is it the soul that desires it? Or is it something else entirely? You know?
Right. Yep. So again, it requires that tuning into the heart, to the resonance of your heart, and actually using the some would say the guiding compass would be It's a feeling of like joy or satisfaction. You think on something and I don't know, think of something that brings you, that makes you happy. You feel like going
babies,
even like
little babies.
Yeah, right. I don't know, like
joy, truth, love.
Yeah, like just pure awareness, pure love, and that's where the society is what I'm realizing is gonna come into, whether it be this next year or whether it be 5 years from now. Like a lot of people are gonna realize, especially those who would have had to stay home and work, they're realizing how much easier it is to actually work from home, stuff like that. A lot of people actually now being able to realize that maybe the job that they had was just draining the life out of them.
And it's not your reality. People feel like they do it so much that they feel like they have to stay there. Like this just has to be my reality. It's what I'm supposed to do. But it's just a job, man. That's all it is.
Yeah,
that's it.
And we're able to shift our reality through, again, shifting our perception, our attitudes even, and that's huge in what we're moving into right now as the energy increases.
Yeah.
So again, like that's one of my greatest passions, to like assist others, because I myself had to really like, I mean, I would have come across like various people who would have helped me along the way. I'm very grateful in itself for those individuals, people, those souls actually helping me, because I would have doing it on my own. I would have, I wouldn't have understood completely what half of it was I was going through. So I try to be that beacon or that light to assist others in actually coming out of.
I mean, how can people find you and work with you? What do they need to do?
Yeah, so they can find me. So I have my sessions listed on my Facebook page in services. So the first thing I would recommend is an energetic scan and consultation, and I essentially allow that as a donation-based system for the scan and the consultation, and then I have other sessions and a package basically of actually assisting in activating or connecting to the crystalline consciousness within the divine blueprint. I have also YouTube videos as well, where I'm going through a lot of my own insights and the aspects of my own realizations. So it's basically like you checking out or following my journey.
That's just type in Jerome Headley on YouTube.
No, so that's Unified Energetics.
Unified Energetics. Same thing on Facebook too. Facebook.com/Unified Energetics.
Yeah, and I have a podcast as well, Krystalline Living. So you can find that on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Anchor.
You should submit it to Amazon now. Amazon has podcasts now.
Yeah?
Yeah, and of course, Bezos has got to get his hands in it. So Amazon's got podcasts now, right?
Yeah.
That ought to tell you how big podcasts are, you guys, when even the biggest, corporate heads, the really, monstrous ones are getting their fingers in it,
Mm-hmm.
It's big. A lot of people are expressing themselves.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. It's a beautiful thing. Like, really, like, being able to, allowing people to share, and people really, they feel that passion in their hearts for like expression. Like, we're social beings. We love to share. So
You would think.
Yeah.
They're trying to make us not social beings, but we are social beings.
I would say naturally, but the programming, right? So it's a lot of aspects of letting go within the reality that are going to be it's going to be, a challenge in itself for humanity. But again, I believe and I know that we're going to come out of it, and it's gonna be a very, very interesting shift.
I got faith too, man. I got faith in humans. I got faith, and just like that movie, The Whole 9 Yards, or is it The Whole 10 Yards? Whole 10 Yards? No, Whole 9 Yards. I'm betting on love. You guys can bet on. People can bet on money and hate and destruction, but I'll always throw my chip down on love. And
and always maintaining that balance of just masculine and feminine, tuning into that. That's really 0 point is. That's really the unlimited energy is, and it's connected into that heart, which is again the love.
I was telling Jerome during the break that we were in Constantine, and I was Constantine, and he was that Papa Midnight guy that was always talking about the balance, right?
Yeah. And Yoda talks. He kind of talks about it too in a way too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, the balance has to be maintained. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. We'll do it again sometime for sure.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
You guys, I'll put the links there as well for all of you to check it out. The archives are going to come out in a mass quantity, so get ready for that. Also, stay tuned for the Secret Teachings with Ryan Gables coming up next. And if you love the show, support us. If you can, donate, please. We could sure use it right now. I can give you the Alex Jones right now. We're on red alert. We need this right now. No, but go ahead and support or join the Patreon, and then support the network too. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Stay tuned for the Secret Teachings. Good night.